Fox 17 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
If this whole thing, starts to happen, I'm telling you what, dude, I'm taking out as many of those motherfuckers as I can. Every single one, dude. Every single one. If we're doing a recon or something and we come up on some of them, dude, you better not give them a chance. You either tell them to go right now or else they're going to die, period. That's what it's going to be, dude, because they are the f***ing enemy, period.
This just into our newsroom tonight. Graphic documents and video obtained by Fox 17 shows the accused domestic terrorists discussing their plot to kidnap and kill Governor Whitmer. Screenshots in the documents provided also show text messages between the suspects, maps detailing their plans, and surveillance of the governor's home in Antrim County. We are still sifting through the documents tonight to bring you more on this developing story.
It is the first time we have seen evidence this extensive in the case, but for now we are going to send it out to our Julie DUNMIRE, who's been in the federal courthouse in downtown Grand Rapids all afternoon with what we learned in the courtroom as two of these suspects faced a judge today, Julie.
Yes, all 5 of the suspects in Michigan currently right now are being detained by the U.S. Marshals. They are innocent until proven guilty, but the judge did determine that during this time they are going to go ahead and make sure that they are in custody. But the defense attorney spoke to us outside of the courthouse today, and they say that those pictures that you've seen are only part of the story right now.
He's not a crackpot.
A defense attorney for one of the men facing charges in a plot to kidnap the governor says these aren't dangerous men. They're just a group of guys who like to play with guns in the woods. That was part of the argument laid out in a federal courthouse in Grand Rapids Friday. Recordings aren't allowed. The U.S. attorney hit back, saying if this was just a game to them, they wouldn't have tried so hard to make sure no one knew what they were doing, like using encrypted conversations and expressing concerns about a Fed in the group ratting them out. The defense saying they don't feel like they have the full picture right now.
That's always the case, right? I mean, they don't have to introduce things that they don't think are relevant. Obviously, they're going to try and introduce things that they believe are relevant, but from our view, there's probably a bigger story to tell here and a context behind a lot of these posts and things that happened not on tape that will come out in court.
Hundreds of hours of information not available to the defense at this time from those tapes. Both the government and the defense alike saying the sheer amount of materials in this case makes it incredibly complicated.
Our client and his family are salt of the earth people. All right, they are good people. A mom and a dad who has adopted him that was served in the military. They own property, they work, they pay their taxes.
Attorney Mark SATAWA and Gary SPRINGSTEAD represent Ty Garbin, who's alleged to have been one of the more heavily involved participants in the plot. SPRINGSTEAD says there's no way to know what he meant by his words without all of the evidence.
The other thing that it could mean is our plan is just to be guys that like to play with guns in the woods, and if we're out there with long guns at the Capitol, then we know how this is going to turn out, and it's not going to turn out well for us.
We're not suggesting the FBI or the U.S. Attorney's Office is doing anything intentionally in that way. If there are hundreds or thousands of hours of tape, not one person couldn't review all of it, and that's where the devil is in the details. That's where we fully expect a lot of the things we heard about our client today is going to be disavowed and overturned.
Another interesting point of conversation today is the topic of free speech. Defense arguing that the 5 men involved were just engaging in, quote, loose talk there. Then the U.S. attorney coming back and saying if it was loose talk, why did they encrypt those conversations? And I do believe we now have examples of those encrypted conversations that are going to be coming up and being aired in our later newscasts so you can see for yourself. Live in Grand Rapids, Julie DUNMIRE, Fox 17 News.